Hello, and welcome to the Tales from Wales podcast. Welcome to anyone who's watching us live and everyone who's listening to us afterwards. Steffan, how's it going?
Very good, thank you very much. Very good. Nice clean kitchen in the background for once. So really looking forward to this. It's going to be fun.
Well, that's the thing about being live, isn't it? You've got to make some sort of effort now with putting some clothes on, or making sure there's a nice picture of a cocker spaniel behind you on the wall, which your lovely partner painted for me. So you see Henry peeping in there.
Oh, it's my wall. That's your wall, isn't it? Oh, that's good. Yeah, there it is. Nice.
Well,
that's good.
So today's guest is Welsh Rugby international Jasmine Joyce. Let's bring her in.
Hello.
Oh, Jazz, how's it going?
Hello,
yeah,
Jasmine.
not too bad. Hello, both. Hello. Thank you very much for welcoming me to the show. I'm looking forward to it just as much as you are.
Yeah, no problem. We've had a little bit of a break over lockdown, and I think it was more than time to sort of get back on the horse and get back to doing the podcast again, because it is fun to catch up with people and have a bit of a nat. I think people have got a bit of lockdown fatigue, really. But how have you been coping with lockdown? I know it's sort of the every other sort of thing you watch on television is lockdown at the moment. But have you found it tricky? Has it been a bit of an inconvenience for you or not?
To be honest, like the first, I think, couple of months I enjoyed, like bought a new house, so been decorating that, training loads, bought a new dog as well, so been busy with that. But I think now it's starting to get, I just want to be back playing rugby, back in routine, back in my job. But I think the main thing is for everyone, like especially myself, just to stay positive throughout it all, because there's nothing we can do, there's nothing anyone else can do. So just enjoy it while we can. When we're back to work, we're only going to regret not enjoying this period.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people in schools will be learning about us in 20 years' time, won't they, for the GCSE history lessons. So I suppose it could be worse. We could be doing those lessons ourselves. But you said you bought a dog and you were trying to decorate. Is that a good combination, dog and decorating?
No, so we bought the house and we were in the house for about 2 months. So everything was decorated by then. And then we're bored because me and my partner both have busy lifestyles anyway. So we were like, let's get a dog. So went and got a dog. And as you were just saying as well, it's a cockapoo. So got a little cockapoo.
Yeah, sort of one of the more amusing dog names, which sounds like you're swearing, but you're not, which is quite nice, really. It's nice to be able to try. So, Jazz, in the nicest possible way, who are you? Like, what do you do? Introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, so I'm Jasmine Joyce. Currently play for Wales 7s and 15s. I represented Team GB in the Rio Olympics. Went to the Commonwealth Games with Team Wales in 2017. Been to a World Cup with the 15s as well with Wales, and played for Barbarian. So I've done quite a lot, which I'm proud of as well. Just hope I can do twice that now in my career as well.
Well, at the age of 25, I think you've dwarfed what most sort of men's rugby players are even capable of doing, because you're able to do all those different sort of teams and different sort of representations with the women's game. Who are you playing the club rugby for at the moment?
So just signed for Bristol, so new signing there. Really looking forward to starting with them. I was with them 2 seasons ago as well, and loved the setup there, loved the players, loved the coaches. So really looking forward to being back.
So like obviously you just signed with Bristol. Like, where has your rugby sort of journey taken you so far from the beginning?
So started when I was 7 years old in Pembrokeshire with St David's RFC, and then just kind of made my way up the stepping stones. Played for Haverfordwest ladies, then played for Scarlets under 16s up to ladies, and then was lucky enough for one of the Welsh coaches to kind of spot me and select me out of a team when I was 16. Went up to camps then, and then my first tournament for Wales was in Dubai. So a very nice tournament to start with.
Yeah, a little bit of different sort of weather, perhaps, of what you might have enjoyed down in West Wales playing for the Scarlets.
Definitely. There's so many training sessions where I've been in the mud, the rain, but I think that's sometimes the enjoyment part of it. You do miss kind of playing in muddy pitches, getting drenched, muddy everywhere. But definitely nice to play in sunshine sometimes.
Yeah, it's not always a soft landing, though, is it, when you're playing in a hot climate? It's a bit rougher on the knees and the elbows as you go down the grounds. Obviously, like sort of, was rugby the only sport you sort of engaged with and stuff? Because I think sometimes, and it's a very out of date sort of perspective, but people think, oh, girls shouldn't play rugby. You know, have you ever sort of faced with that sort of pushback at all when you started out?
Well, when I was in school, I played all sorts of sports: rugby, netball, hockey, all of the different sports there. But as I was growing older, it was like, look, girls play rugby. And even now, like you say to some people, like, oh yeah, I play rugby. They're like, what? Like, and I think sometimes it's that reaction, not because I'm a girl, but because I'm small. Like, they're like, no, you can't play rugby. Nah, you're not big enough. But actually, like, you look at like the sevens teams now and some of the 15s teams, like most of them are small, petite, just like don't carry much at all. But it was never... It never stopped me doing anything, or a barrier type thing of people being like, oh, girls shouldn't play this.
Because I'm not sure how it differs, like in England, but in Wales, boys and girls play mixed gender rugby up until the age of 11, didn't they? So
yeah,
was that sort of enjoyable in a sense, in terms of trying to get one up on the boys at the time, or was it quite tricky being part of the team? Or
no, I loved it, to be fair. Me and my best friend used to play for the club. We were like 7, till about, I think it was 12, we had to stop. At the start, like when the team started up, like they were like, oh, don't pass to the girls, like, oh, they'll drop it and all this. And then they soon realised that both of us were so quick, so they'd like, oh, just pass to the girls, and then we'd run and score. So we're like, yeah, should have passed to us from the start.
Quite satisfying, I imagine. In Germany, though, they play mixed gender rugby up until the age of 16, which is it's quite a sort of quite a difference. Obviously, 11 years of age and 16 years of age. But we played a touring German team when I was 15, and they had two girls on the team, and that was it was just a bit strange, really. And at first, everyone sort of said, right, perhaps we won't tackle them. We'd be people quite, sort of, once they started making 20, 30-yard gains, no, we can't look about that. We're going to have to tackle these girls, the same as the boys. But yeah, that was quite an eye-opener. So,
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, up until 16 they play, and then they split genders. So what's the logic there? And I'm not sure, but yes. So I suppose if it's the commonplace, it's the thing to do. But yeah, at 16 they split. Steph?
Yeah, I think I never played much rugby in school or anything like that. Bulldogs, because you didn't have to chase the ball. But I think I think the women's team in Wales are absolute beasts in the nicest way possible, and I love like to see them do so. Try that you scored against the USA. That's longer, I think, than I've ever ran in my whole life. That one try.
Yeah. It was, that was, one of the best.
How did that feel?
Yeah, I can remember that being like one of the best tries I felt afterwards, just being like, it's for the Barbarians, like, it was just amazing. Yeah, class. And I think there were so many people in the crowd as well. You just remember like the moment of like scoring and then everyone clapping and all that. So yeah, it was amazing.
And that was actually the first female.
It's a good YouTube clip as well.
And that was the first women's Barbarians match, was it?
No, first one against USA. So
right.
The women had played before in Ireland, I think it was. But it was the first one. It was a first international match. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people sort of don't realise the Barbarians will play club teams as well, and they don't just play on Sky Sports on a Sunday sort of thing. But how would you describe the Barbarians to anyone who's not sure, who's listening, what the Barbarians team actually is? How would you describe it?
I would normally think it was retired rugby players, but when I got asked, I was like, oh, actually, it must not be. So I just say like the better players of the nations, the head coach kind of selects from all different nations. So I was playing with like New Zealanders, Aussies, like all of them, and the coaches just select the best few. Or I think sometimes it's not necessarily the best players, but it's the best people like who bring the best culture as well, like who are fun, like who want to learn and things like that. It was one of the best rugby experiences of my life, and you wouldn't want that kind of fun outgoing atmosphere around the Barbarians to go.
Would you say sort of playing for the Barbarians, whilst there is a pressure involved, it's international rugby on many levels, is it sort of, it brings that enjoyment of playing sort of professional sport back?
Oh yeah, like I say, it was one of the best experiences of my rugby career. Like, we play for Wales, and yeah, it's amazing. You go to Olympics, you go to Com Games, but there's so much pressure on you as an individual and as a team to win and perform.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't get me wrong, there is that in the Barbarians, but like, there's such a more relaxed, chilled environment. So like, going there and like playing and actually winning in last play of the game was amazing. Because yeah, if we won or lost, it still would have been the best experience ever. But to win was, yeah, it was a class.
Where in America did you play the match?
Colorado. So the humidity up there, like your altitude, you're running, genuine. I was like,
It's about a mile high, Colorado. It's about a mile high above sea level, I think.
I don't know. But all I can remember was not being able to breathe. Literally the whole game.
Is this sort of quite a big rugby sort of following in America? Because I know like women's soccer in America is very, very popular. Is it similar with the rugby then, did you find?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I know the USA Sevens girls are doing really well. So there must be some sort of like money pumped into them. Like, they're doing amazing. And the crowd we had in Colorado was amazing, like better than what we get with our international games. So yeah. I can imagine all sport in America, to be honest, is probably through the roof, like media and financial benefits as well from that.
And what's it sort of, is it a nice change of pace then, sort of being on the same side as like Aussie and New Zealand players and South Africans, as opposed to sort of bearing down against them?
Oh my God, yeah. Like, literally, I was on the same team with like literally some of the best players who've ever played the game. So it was very good to be on the same side of them, yes. But then we were playing against USA, who were also giants. So it was like, you bring the big people on your team and then you play against them as well. So, but yeah, it was good to be on the same team as them, for sure.
We mentioned like enjoyment and rugby being a job in some respects. How did you find the transition between sort of, you know, amateur play and then sort of, you know, more professional play quite challenging at first, or did you sort of take it in your stride?
Yeah, I think I did find it tough at the beginning, like, because I was so young going into my first kind of sevens tournament. I think I was 18, maybe even 17. So like, I hadn't really developed as a person then, let alone as a rugby player. So it was hard, especially when you've got some people on that team who are nuts. So it was hard to enjoy at times. But like, I'd say within a year or two, I was loving it then, like integrated in. You earn your place. They're not mean to you, but you have to earn your place, earn your respect, which I think is a good thing. Now I'm almost like a senior. It's a good thing to build you up for that. It just builds resilience through you as well.
Like you said about people being nuts and sort of doing your place, but is there a sort of mentoring going on as well, and people sort of take you under your wing a bit and coach you a bit beyond, not just the coaches, you know, the sort of the more senior players as well? Yeah,
absolutely. There's some in the team who they're not bullies, not at all, but like people people you need in your team to make you the player you are. And if I didn't have them people in my team, I wouldn't make it to where I am now. So I believe you need those people on a team. But then also there's the other people who are like the nicest people ever, who will like take you under your wing, make sure you're okay, like make sure you're like integrated within the team, in which you need people like that in your team as well. So there's definitely a balance within that, for sure.
Yeah, the sort of the people who will make you do those extra couple of sprints at the end of training, or, you know, shout at you and drop the ball, but give you a pat in the back at the same time type thing, you know, that sort of approach.
Absolutely. And I think you need both of them people on your team to make you as a good player, as well as the team, like morale good as well, because it does make you do the extra run, the extra sprint on and off the field then as well.
Yeah. Steph?
I want to ask a question about sevens rugby. I've always enjoyed sevens rugby, especially, you know, I remember watching the old Fiji team and stuff, and it's so much more entertaining to watch. You know, as a neutral, than the 15, the 15 side. Why is it that sevens are just so fun to watch?
Yeah, I think it's because it's more exciting. Like, we could go into a game with like a higher ranked team, for example, maybe not New Zealand and Australia, but South Africa, for example. We would thought to lose that game, but actually sometimes we're going into that game and winning it. And you're watching games like New Zealand and England playing, and you actually don't know who's going to win. Whereas in a game of 15s, if like we're playing England, you know who's going to win, like before the game's even started. And I think that's sometimes the most exciting part of it.
Yeah, I think a sort of an analogy that works is like a boxing when they say a puncher's chance, isn't it? You know, with a sevens game, one missed pass, one drop ball, and they can flip the game on his head quite quickly. Do you find it difficult? Do you find it difficult trying to balance the two and the different sort of fitness requirements, or is it pretty similar with your positional play?
Yeah, it's pretty similar for me, I think. As a winger, I just catch the ball and run most of the time anyway. So me transitioning from them both, there is a slight difference, like defensively and around the breakdown. But I think it's harder for people who transition, who are in different positions, such as back row, second row. Like, obviously, in 15s, if you're a forward, you have to be a lot heavier than you are in sevens. So that transition, I think, is tough, and a lot of the girls do it. So fair play to them as well.
Yeah, I think the amount of distance recovery in a sevens match is probably equal to a 15s match, but it's in 14 minutes instead of 80, isn't it? So I think that's a massive challenge on your sort of different fitness levels. How did you manage sort of, you said about playing on the wing, you've mentioned that a couple of times now, but I think I noticed like a 15 on your back when you were scoring that try for the Barbarians. So you were playing out of position there. Was that a bit of a challenge in itself? Or?
Yeah, like wing is boring at times. Like, you don't do anything, you're just standing there. And if it's raining and cold, like it's not enjoyable. It's not at all, because I can go through a 15s game having have made one tackle and no runs. So to play 15s, to play number 15 for the Barbarians, it was class. And like, I got so much ball, like got to run so much. I keep telling the backs coach, put me 15. But he's like, Jazz, you can't kick. You're not going 15.
Just keep showing him my YouTube clip and he'll give in.
Yeah. I'll just send it to him every day.
So we're in the middle of lockdown, and I think it's hard to get away from that. But what does a normal sort of week look like for a Jasmine Joyce international rugby player?
God, busy. So yeah, in lockdown or not in lockdown?
Out of lockdown, a normal week.
So I work as a personal trainer in David Lloyd's clubs in Swansea or Llandarcy. Yeah. So I'd start work at 5. So I'd get up at 4:15 in the morning, get to work for 5, work till 2ish. Normally train 2 till 3, go swimming then 3 till 4, and then get ready to go training up in Cardiff then for 5, half 5ish. Get home, do the same again.
Yeah, six days a week, perhaps. Is the swimming specific to your training, or is it something you just enjoy and you want to just cross train a little bit?
To be honest, I hadn't done much swimming at all until I got a job in David Lloyd, like, because the facilities there are awesome.
Free access.
Literally, that pretty much is it. Like, I get to train in the gym, and then I don't have to drive anywhere for the pool, or you don't have to pay £6 to get into a leisure centre. So I've only recently started to swim. It is for training, like recovery purposes, and like if I feel fresh, I'll go for a few lengths.
Yeah.
But there's a sauna there, so sometimes it's just relaxation as well. Like, it's the hour in the day where I get to kind of be by myself, chill, relax, recover. So that's sometimes just as important as it is to train.
Do you think sort of working as a personal trainer and having that facility on hand does give you a little bit of a boost in terms of trying to manage your time and your training? Because perhaps if your job was in like the care industry or retail or something, you wouldn't have that luxury then. Do you think that gives you a little bit of an edge perhaps in terms of like, training and managing a work life?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Like now, obviously I'm on furlough now with my job, so I have loads of free time. And over the last month, I've actually been working in care. So I'm working for a care company, and I'm working 8 till 8. So like whether that's days or nights. Yeah. So I'm only doing 2 shifts a week at the moment, but like working 8 till 8, like I don't know when to train. Like I'm waking up early to get it done, but like then I don't get home till 8:45, and then I'm dead then. Like,
and otherwise, if you train afterwards, you're staying up late. Thanks. If you train and try and sleep, it's not going to work. You know, I'm sure you have this problem, Steph. If you do a training session at 8, 9 o'clock, you won't be going to sleep till about midnight because you sort of hyped up, and it's not going to work. 8 till 8 is very, very intrusive on your time and your day, isn't it? Right in the middle.
Yeah, there's no time to do anything.
So have you had to get you said about being furloughed, so I'm assuming you haven't got access to the David Lloyd gyms at the moment. Have you had to get quite inventive with your training during lockdown?
Yeah, to start with, we had no equipment, like nothing at all, no plates, no kettlebells. So the first 2 months were really tough. Like, it's easy to go for a run, so running and speed wasn't an issue, but like weights wise, so keeping up your strength was really tough. Like, it's just boring doing strength with no weights. So like I was like getting myself up for like doing a strength session where normally we've got barbells on our back and like heavy lifts and stuff, and now I've got nothing. So it was tough to do that, but luckily now I've got a barbell, so I've got a few more heavier weights, which is helping me train. But for the people who don't have equipment and want to stay kind of strong, is tough, really tough.
I've been grateful. I got a couple of kettlebells at home, so I went for a run yesterday and then tried to do some kettlebells, and I managed to achieve a PB. I tweaked my back and my calf. I tweaked my back and my calf in the same session, so I managed to get 2 injuries instead of 1. But I think I saw on your Facebook story, possibly, you seem to be lifting. It looked like one of those sort of dad 80s vinyl dumbbells, like the one your dad might have had under the bed that he never used. Have you been sort of piecing things together a little bit?
Yeah, so that's what I've had from the beginning. They were my brothers, they were, but I've had them. I must have had them for ages. They're not that heavy, but at the beginning, they were. I'd take whatever.
Yeah. What have you been doing any training stuff during lockdown?
Oh, loads, yeah. I've been lifting cans of Thatchers, just one at a time, as to not get too, I don't want the myofibrils in my arm to rip in any sort of way, do I? But yeah, it's been good. I think I do 1 sit-up a day, and that's me getting out of bed. And then I just eat and I chew sugar harder. That's the best way. So you just break it down then. Isn't it? So I'm very impressed by the way that you like 8 till 8, I get that shift like that. But at the same time, the other side of it, when you were saying about the training, I would find that much harder than working 8 till 8. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I am lazy.
Nah, I definitely don't find
12 hours.
I definitely don't find the 12-hour shift harder than training. So give me some tips on that.
Do you tend to do a lot of sort of sessions on your own, or do you seem to get together with your teammates as well?
Well, at the start, we weren't allowed to go anywhere, but luckily my partner, we trained together, so it makes it so much easier. Like, we did a running session earlier, and like I was thinking mentally, like, not a chance would I do this on my own. Like, it was savage, like loads of runs, and like I wouldn't get myself up for that if I was on my own. So I think, doing it on your own would be a lot harder than doing it with someone. But motivation at times is really hard.
So, like, if you sort of get your I'm assuming you get your strength and conditioning sort of program from Bristol or your current club at the time, would you typically meet up with your teammates then outside of lockdown to do that, or would you sort of be tasked to get on with yourself?
So we get given like a strength program from Wales at the moment. So we're following their program, but now we're allowed to integrate with people in a park. So I think now we're going to start to meet up and do skills and do sort of stuff like that, which will be good. But outside of lockdown, we'd mainly just do all of our skills in training sessions rather than meeting up after.
I got you. So you sort of it's on you then. How hard you work outside of that is sort of down to you, I suppose. But what sort of, in terms of the difference between 15s and 7s, do you have particular different training you do then, like into extra sprints or 7s, or?
At the moment, it's tough because I want to go to the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021, and then the World Cup, which is like a month after, which is 15s. Okay. So like for me, obviously the Olympics is first. So like I want to train as hard as I can to be a 7s player, but then I've got that little window to hopefully be selected for World Cup. There is slight differences in training, but at the moment, like all our training is savage, like really hard. So I wouldn't be able to do much more running or much more sprints anyway. So yeah, training for them both, to be honest.
And where is the World Cup taking place?
New Zealand, hopefully.
New Zealand. So you might have to pack 2 pairs of boots and some molded sets for Tokyo and some longer ones for New Zealand, maybe. Would that be your first trip to New Zealand then?
Yeah, first trip to New Zealand. Hopefully that will be literally, class.
And you come home in between, I'm assuming, then, between the Olympics and the World Cup?
No idea. Like I need to get selected for them both first.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So obviously, with you guys sort of playing your club level rugby at sort of what's considered perhaps the highest level in Britain currently. You played for the Scarlets, you played for Wales, Sevens, and then GB and the Barbars you mentioned. What sort of achievement would you say you're most proud of? And I know that's quite tricky, and you have to pick one. I'm not going to let you get away with saying I like them all, unfortunately. Yeah,
I will pick one, but like all of them are. I'll pick one at the end, but I'll discuss why I achieved it. Obviously, Commonwealth Games was amazing because I got to play for like Team Wales, and I got to start every game, so I got loads of minutes and I played well. Like my family was in the crowd, like all of that aspect of that. Going to a World Cup.
You get to keep a nice tracksuit from the Commonwealth Games as well.
Yeah, we get to keep all of our kit, which was good.
You'd have like the athletics tracksuit then, wouldn't you? Not just the rugby tracksuit.
Yeah. Sorry, what do you mean?
with Wales, you have sort of the Welsh team colours and tracksuit. But with the Commonwealth Games, you'd have a different sort of different pattern and different sort of style, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So they're completely different.
We have the flag in the ceremony and that sort of thing. Yeah,
all of that, and then obviously going to a World Cup in the 15s was amazing too. Like got to play against New Zealand, watch the haka. But then the one and then again, Barbarians was class because it was a different experience. Like the pressure was off, but I think it's got to be like an Olympic Games is my biggest achievement, just because it's like the pinnacle of my supporting career in sevens. Yeah. Like it's world class stage. I think, probably Olympics. Since you're making me choose one.
If there's any selected listening to any of the teams Jasmine represents, she does like them all equally. It's not a competition. Really.
Thank you.
And where did the Olympic Games take place?
Rio 2016.
The 2016 one, of course. Yeah. How did you get on in that one? Because the men's team did well, didn't they? Not that I only thought the men's, but how did you get on?
Men came second. We came the worst position, which was fourth.
It should be literally. It should be like a fourth medal, I think. Just like a chocolate or something,
Well, we got sent a certificate, like, it must have been a month after, like, a certificate saying, like, well done, you've come fourth. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't want a certificate, but thank you.
Where is that certificate now?
I've kept it. It is in my, like, box of, like, trophies and stuff like that. But I was like, I want a bronze medal, not a plastic sheet of certificate.
Because I imagine, and I unfortunately in my sporting career, I'll only ever imagine this. Getting a silver medal must be a little bit disappointing in many ways because it's so close to gold. But in the third and fourth playoff, there's a bronze or nothing, so that must be quite a bit of a deflating afterwards, especially after a long tournament. And how do you sort of pick yourself up then as a team and as a player after a difficult sort of experience like that?
Well, it was tough for me because I was the only Welsh one that went with the English girls. So after Rio, all the English girls had contracts and they were then professional sevens players, so they got to go on the circuit, everything like that. Whereas I had to go back to university, so like I was like at the highest of highs, like going to Olympic Games, then literally coming like all the way back down to being like just a normal like student in university. So that was really tough, and like I literally must have had about like 10 breakdowns of being like, nah, not doing uni, I'm giving up. But then like I'm glad I've done it now. And then like I was saying earlier, hopefully go on to do a PGCE now, but to pick yourself up after like times like that is tough. Like you just got to think like, oh, there's always in 4 years time, or like, oh look, I've got sevens now in a couple of months, I can play for Wales in 3 months, like stuff like that. But yeah, really tough.
Does it keep you sort of grounded, or not that maybe grounded is the wrong word, but like motivated, knowing there's the sort of the sporting aspiration and that going on, but there's also that real life aspect you've got to juggle as well?
Yeah, I love it. Like, obviously, I'd love to be a professional rugby player, even if I get to do it for 2-3 years of my career as a rugby player, that would be awesome. But I enjoy being busy. So, like, as mad as it sounds, like, I enjoy getting up at 4 a.m, being busy all day, training, busy again, and then, like, going to training. And then some weekends I get off, and then I'm, like, chilling. I'm like, yeah, can't wait for a weekend off. Like, no work, no rugby. Comes a Saturday, and I'm like, right, what should I do? So like, it's because we are so busy. When you do have that downtime, you're always like, oh, what needs to be done? But yeah, I do enjoy it. I'd love to go part-time in work, part-time professional rugby player. Well, I'd love to be a full-time professional rugby player, but I don't know when that's going to happen.
Steph?
Yeah, that's a question that we've had with a previous guest as well. Like, as I think what you're doing is great. The men's game gets so much more, of a everybody watches it more and stuff. And I think that the women's game is just as good. What do you think the future of it is? Need more funding? Does it need more people watching it? You're doing the same training and getting the same sort of. You play the same game. So, like, I don't want to load the question at all. I think it should be funded better. What do you think is the future for it?
Yeah, like as a woman, we've got to be funded better because we're not the best team there. Like sometimes our games aren't entertaining. People don't want to watch them. So it's like it is a circle. Like we don't do well, so like we don't get funded, but we're not getting funded because we're not doing well. And it would just, it's just like that. And obviously, us as women, we don't expect to get paid as much as the men, like nowhere near that. Like we don't bring crowds and crowds of people to the Principality Stadium, like any of that. But
the regions don't know what they're in Wales, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
That's another story.
But I think it'd just be nice, and I know all of the girls feel the same, just to even have a year together as professional athletes, all of us as a year. If we do well, then we've like happy days. Here we go, carry on contract. If we don't do well, it just proves maybe that we're not good enough to have contracts yet, and we need to individually work on ourselves and get fitter, faster, stronger as an individual, and then come together as a squad then.
Do you think the Olympic aspect with the sevens has helped that? Because obviously the Olympics get a lot of funding, and a lot of Olympic sports are traditionally amateur sports in themselves. But is that training cycle and is that funding? Do you think that's helped you a lot?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I went up to, I moved to London, I did just before the Olympics, and I got a year contract with Wales. Contracted me, which I was fortunate enough. But obviously I was representing Team GB, so that changed me as a player. Like I genuinely, like loads of the girls would say before I went up, like, Jazz, you could barely catch a ball. Like, and I literally believed them. Like I literally could only just catch a ball. I was just fast. Like they were like, look, we'll have Jazz. She's quick. Like, let's see if we can develop her. Like, whatever. And the year there made me into a completely different person. Like, even going there personally, I was like, there's no way I'm going to make an Olympic Games. Not a chance. Yeah. And then, like, as months and months went on, like, must have been maybe like 2 months before selection, I was like, actually, do you know what? Like, I could actually make the Olympics. And then it like hit home, like how much I developed. And like, if all of us as Wales women athletes got that chance, we'd be such a good team. Like we've got the ability, like rugby ability there. It's just people juggle work, so people can't get the fittest they can be, fastest they can be. That we're not the strongest athletes we can. So like, yeah, if we a year, that's all we want. Year funding, happy days.
And when it's not an even playing field as well, like women's sport, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself and quote when women's rugby in England has been sort of professional or more professional, but you know, when it's not an even playing field like that, it's difficult to compete, isn't it?
It's so tough. Like in the Six Nations, like we're competing against England and France, and we're nowhere near them. Like it's so deflating going into games like that. Like, yeah, you want to like believe, and we do believe we can win, but and then it comes to it, and we're like, oh, yeah, okay, we lost by 50 points. It's rubbish. And it's the same for Scotland and Ireland and sometimes Italy as well. Like we all lose by so much by both those teams. It's not fair. Like it's not fair.
Is it almost like there becomes a tournament within the tournament then? Because England and France are the front runners perhaps, and then the other 4 teams are battling out for sort of third place perhaps.
Yeah, that's literally it. And Italy now, I think they've got a few contracted players. I know Scotland have got a few contracted players. So like that now it's going to be England and France completely above, and then the rest, and then we're just dropping even far behind. So I just hope soon us as a nation are able to get contracts or compete full time. That would be great.
Steph?
Yeah, I think it's important that people get behind you as well. It's really it's really important that, because Wales is such a rugby-focused nation, it should be everyone. You know, imagine if you're on a match day, right, and you watch those little kids, those little 8-year-olds playing touch rugby. You know, the ones you see like halfway through the game. Imagine that. Like that's a professional sport. That'd be awesome, right? But I just think that all the most to one place and everyone else isn't looked after. That's me. I'm not a Welsh rugby conspiracy theorist. That's me. I don't know. But it's mad, you know. And I think you've done so well to be 25 and to achieved all those things. I'm 38, and the only real thing I've achieved is this chair. 38 years old. I think it's amazing.
It is a nice chair, mine, Steph, in fairness. I often like that chair up when I see you on these streams.
No, it's looking good.
It looks as if it's like transported from the 70s into your lounge somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as my upbringing in West Wales. North Pembrokeshire, I'll have you know. North Pembrokeshire. You're St David's, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's posh down there. You go to Greg's. Well, I'm from a place called Eglwyswrw, which is on the way up to Cardigan there. So we've got a garage and we've got pubs and houses, and that's it. Just a way in and a way out. That's all my village is. Yeah,
people do say I sound like posh, like, and they think, "Oh, are you English? Like, you sound really posh." I'm like, "No, I'm Welsh. I'm just from St David's."
Well, it's quite indicative. The way
you sound Westphalian to me.
Yeah, but Westphalian, like, I don't sound Welsh, do I? Or do I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
the difference is when you say like.
Yeah, I do say that a lot, to be fair.
It's indicative of when Steffan said he's from Eglwyswrw and your response was, and it's
where
probably
is that?
15 miles to David, if that.
Yeah.
But I sort of, obviously you said you started playing rugby when you're 7, 8 years of age. As aspirational and looking at role models, there wouldn't have been as many women players to look up to. So did you find you sort of looked up to like the men's team, or was it anyone in particular sort of you found inspiring when you were younger to play? Yeah,
there was women-wise, like there was no one. You never knew anyone. Like you'd only know the players if you went to watch the games. But most of the time it was so far away from me, like I could never go and watch the games anyway. But when I did go and watch the games, like Ellen Evans, who was also a winger, I was always like, oh yeah, I want to be like her. Like I want to score tries like she does. I think like that. And then with the men, I think I can almost relate to like Shane Williams. Just people telling him, oh, you're too small this. And then actually he's one of the best wingers in the world. Well, was anyway. So like, yeah, can relate to that as well.
Do you think since you've been playing, have you noticed a change in how the women's sort of side of the game has moved on, and there is that sort of more aspirational thing for young girls now want to get into rugby, and there are these role models and there are these sort of, you know, stars they can start to look up to? Have you noticed a change there?
Yeah, definitely. The amount of like clusters, which are around now, the amount of girls rugby teams that are around, it's amazing. And like, if we go there as the Welsh squad, you can just see the girls being like, oh my God,
Yeah,
that's her. And like, that's amazing for us, because like it shows that we are role models and people are looking up to us as well. And we never really had that as when we were younger.
Is there any sort of cliche time now? Was there any sort of advice you'd give to any young girls who are interested in getting into rugby?
Just enjoy it. I think for all sports, if you want to get far in things, you've got to enjoy it. And I think that was the main thing for me, is from the moment I touched a rugby ball, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I want to do this forever and stuff. So I think that's important. Shit, my phone just died.
Oh, it's all right, you're still there. It's all right, you can still hear you and see you. We'll wrap it up, it's all right. Oh, she's sideways. She's gone sideways and she's popping off a minute. So yeah, we start.
This is what happens. This is what happens
when you're live. She's gone to get a charger. So, how far away is Glwyswrw from St David's, would you say?
I would say it's about 40 miles. I would say 40 miles. I'll tell you the difference between Glwyswrw and St David's is when I was a kid, I bought a wooden tennis racket from St David's, and in Glwyswrw they didn't have any toys, which is tools and squares.
A John McEnroe type tennis racket.
Yeah, like a juice and macro one. It was wooden, but so like it would bounce really nice, but you'd never get. Remember, we used to get like that first metal tennis racket, and you hit it, and it was awesome. Like, yeah, but this is just rubbish. It's just bounce like. That was just St David's for me. Crap tennis rackets and cathedrals.
Well, I think Jasmine's phone has actually died now, so perhaps it's best if we just wrap it up. Steph, it's been a pleasure as always. I was going to ask a question
about her teeth.
What question was that going to be?
How do you get your teeth looking so white and so impressive? Like, my teeth look like an old burnt fence. Look at that, horrible. But like hers are just unbelievable. Like really nice teeth.
Well, when you're a semi-professional rugby player, Steph, you can afford these luxuries in life, I suppose. She's back. She's not connected. Yes, she is. Bring her in. Jazz, you back with us?
The nice teeth. Yeah.
So how did you? That's okay. That's okay. You could tell you play on the wing because you ran away really fast then as well from the stream.
Like that.
I call you back. It's all right. We can just edit this bit to the audio. I was just going to wrap it up, really, Jazz, and just say what's next for you now with your rugby, and where do you sort of think is the next for the women's game in general, and you personally?
So personally, well, to be honest, no idea. Hoping to be back playing club rugby, which is in England. So I'm hoping that's going to be a bit sooner than the Welsh rugby. So maybe August time, back training with a few girls. Then Six Nations. I want to start every game in Six Nations, and then I want to ideally go to the Olympics and then go to World Cup. That would be an ideal situation. And then in terms of just general life, do PGC in September, graduate from that, and then become a teacher. That would be ideal.
Yeah, and then plenty of time to train in the 60s holidays when you're building up for the new season.
Well, yeah.
That was quite an enviable list then. The World Cup, the Olympics, and Six Nations. I think you've ticked a lot of boxes for most people in Wales there. I think that's a bit of a dream list for any proud Welsh person, really. But Jazz, this has been lovely. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for running the gate charge.
Drew.
Yes, Steph.
Sorry, Drew. I should ask the question. We just spoke about it. It'd be sly of me not to mention it because she wasn't
Oh, yeah, I
online.
suppose, yes.
I've been talking when you were off about. I think that you have the best teeth in rugby.
Teeth.
You have very white teeth. Yeah, look at my
I brush
teeth.
them twice a day. Brush them twice a day, everyone.
There we go, kids. There we go, kids. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Wash them twice a day. Your teeth are better because you run faster.
Yeah, the wind could brush them for me as well. So maybe I'm getting like 4 times a day, maybe.
That's me sorted.
Top advice: brush your teeth and run fast. I think that's what we can take away from this episode.
Yeah. Done.
As always, thank you very much for giving it your time. Good luck with everything. If people want to sort of keep up with what you're doing with your sort of social media, that sort of thing, is there any way people can find you?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Jasmine Joyce. Give me a follow. Yeah, there's not much on their mind, but you can have a look.
Your chance for some lockdown content creator. That's for you to get on with.
Yeah.
Right, Jasmine, thank you very much. Steffan, pleasure as always.
Thank you.